Hi everybody, welcome back to O Gringo Sergipano. This is episode 15 where we're building the city of Kier. And today we're going to develop this section of land here between the train tracks and the industrial area that we kind of have open in our continued quest to develop the land that is not yet to be developed in this main peninsula here. So let's get started, shall we? Okay, so this is the main area here. This is where I'm going to develop the community of Labrador, kind of along the river. And then we have these 1.5 blocks behind that and another 1.5 blocks behind that, where, we're going to develop all the land on this side of the train tracks that's left over. So, yeah. Okay, so we have the initial grid here, which is really not a surprise. It looks like everything else. And, like previous developments, we're going to have more high density closer to the river. Okay, so we have our first zoning in, as well as our city services, basic things, education, fire, police, things of that nature. So yeah, we're going to let this fill in a little bit and I'm going to come back. Okay, so we have zoning in all of the grid that we've laid out so far for Labrador. We have also carried 2 bridges across towards Svalbard Highway. So yeah, really now we just need to let this grow in. And there we have it, the first half of Labrador, which, this this build is kind of repetitive, but once things really take shape, it'll make sense. It'll really look good. All right. Like I said, you kind of knew what this was going to look like when the grid was across. So, I've gone ahead and completed the grid that was already kind of there. I have also added zoning and city service buildings. This is pretty much all low-density residential. If you notice, I did add a college. Even though we're really close to Gans College, I think that having the university there, it was needed. We needed to have more capacity in our university system, so why not? I never know what to do with rail, so I just kind of put it down at first and then I build over it. But once I start to get an identity to an area, here I realize that it's best to have the roads at ground level and have the rail going over it. It makes more sense for me, and I feel like it just brings more to the neighborhood. You see, I've done the same thing here. That was a massive overpass over the rail. Now it's in the opposite direction. The road is at ground level, which is, honestly, it frees up more land for development too. But, the rail does go back down to ground level once it meets towards the riverside, but this really is much better. All right, well, there is everything. That is the whole neighborhood of Labrador that's zoned and filled in. But we're definitely not done with this episode. We have a couple more things to do involving roads and transit. So let's get going with that. Okay, so here is the new intersection of Svalbard Highway and Gans Avenue. Gans Avenue used to curve and go straight across the river, but now it goes straight and goes across the river at an angle. This is really the only change here, although, coming up, I did elevate the highway. So let's look at that real quick. Okay, so we have the intersection here, which looks very similar to the last one, but I built things in a certain way because I know they were going to be kind of close, but I still want to have connectivity and different routes into the city. This is the intersection of Svalbard Highway and Gerhardt Boulevard. It is now ground level and the highway overpasses it, so that will be the same here with the next one, which is Labrador Avenue and Svalbard Highway. So yeah, I mean the highway is raised here over these two at ground level because eventually we're going to have some development that will take place on this side of the river. So there are our 3 bridges. So everything is set up here. We have the highway as we want it to be. We have crossings as we want them to be. And now we can go back over to the other side of the river and work on transit. Okay, so here is Metro Line 1, which was previously running through this area. It just didn't have any stops because this was headed to Gans. But now we added 3 infill stations here, 1 in Labrador, 2 in the different sections of the industrial area. So that will provide, I mean, a lot of people already use this line, so now we have some new infill stations and more usage upcoming. As with Metro Line 1, Tram Line 1 was already running through this area as well, so we've added some infill stations here, quite a few more, that really help kind of solidify this line, so we will get more usage out of this one as well. Okay, and now we have an extension of bus line 9, which goes along what is now Labrador Avenue, all the way to the end from Bellingham on the other side. And here is an extension of bus line 10 along Gerhard Boulevard, which extends kind of right into the center of the area here. So that's a very needed connection. And finally, we have extended bus line 14 down Gans College Boulevard all the way through the space between the industrial park and Drainsville. So yeah, I mean, we have all our transit connections through Labrador. And that's all she wrote for this one. There's Labrador. It's looking mighty nice. See the industrial area is pretty much filled in now, so we have development through most of this region. I think in the next episode we're going to finish up everything on the other side of Gans Highway, which is the bypass here. So yeah, here we go. See you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.